Hi there, I'm Angela and this is Friday Sews. Happy Friday everyone, and special thanks to anyone who's jumped in on the live chat. So happy to have you here. And also special thanks to Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room, who is the creator of the hashtag Friday Sews. And this is where we talk about how our week went, what we've worked on in the sewing room, what has gone on in our lives, and things like that. I think of it as a nice way to just wind down the week and chat with you guys and head into the weekend. So yeah, let's get going. So my big news on the sewing front is that I'm completely finished with my Simplicity jacket. This is the collab that Pam and I have done together. And I will link both Jen's channel and Pam's channel below. So Pam from @Made by Pam and I, and this is probably not news for a lot of you guys who have been with me for a little while now, we did a jacket together. It was a Simplicity pattern, S8843, and that was our April challenge. So we are both completely finished with our jackets. She actually, in full disclosure, finished hers like well before I did. But we're both finished now, and today is the big reveal. She's going to reveal her finished jacket on her channel, and I'm going to reveal mine on this video right here. So stay tuned for that here in just a few minutes. And also, I would definitely encourage you to head over to Pam's channel and check out her jacket too. We each did different versions of the jacket, and you'll see that if you watch both of the videos. But I'll do like show you guys how it turned out and do like the little twirls or what have you, so you can see the whole jacket. I'm so thrilled with it. It came out really well. The biggest thing, maybe the only thing that I changed about it, was to add a lining. So the pattern didn't call for a lining. So I added a lining to mine, and Pam also added a lining to hers. And she actually took it one step further and added a zippered pocket on the inside. So how cool is that? I really loved it when she showed me that, and I thought, I wonder if I could, like after the fact, add that to mine. I feel like I could if I just like assemble the actual pocket front with, the little zipper, and then hand stitched it into the lining of the jacket. So I might try that just because it would be really nice to have a secure pocket in a jacket, even though the jacket does have two open pockets, like patch pockets on the outside. Just having that nice secure zippered up pocket would be really cool. Yes, I might do that in my quote unquote spare time. Yeah, so finished that, and I've also started on my next project, which is a Kwik Sew top, and I'll pop a picture of that right up here, the pattern. I haven't gotten too far on that yet, just cut out the pieces, and this will be my first Kwik Sew pattern that I've done. And so far, I haven't really noticed too many differences between Kwik Sew and the other like commercial brands. The one thing that did catch my eye though right out of the gate was it specifies 1/4 inch seam allowances. So that's really different from your standard big four patterns with their 5/8 inch seam allowances. So I'm going to have to remember that when I get it over to the sewing machine to start stitching and not go for my standard 5/8. Now I'm also a quilt maker, so I'm used to 1/4 inch seams when it comes to piecing quilt tops together. So at least I have that experience. And the machine that I bought beginning of 21 has on the little throat plate the markings like 1/4 inch, 3/8 inch, 1/2 inch. It has all those built into like that little, throat plate, which is nice. My old machine didn't have that, so I had to use tape. And I even at one point took like had taken a Sharpie and like just drawn on the metal throat plate where the markings were for each one of the measurements that I commonly use for seam allowances. It didn't last forever. It wears off, and then I worry about it rubbing off onto my fabric. So having those measurements built in is so nice. And I'm wondering if maybe most machines actually have that now. I'm not sure. If you guys can weigh in on that, that would be great. Like, does your machine have those built-in markings? If so, is it a newer machine? if you have a newer machine and it doesn't have those markings, let me know that too. I'm curious if this has become standard or not. Yeah, so that's pretty much it in my sewing life for this week. And yeah, in real life, it's been kind of boring, I guess you would say. I really didn't even do too much out in the garden. I'll kind of show you guys what I did do in pictures, just because I feel like that like provides a better description than I could verbally tell you. We recently had 5 cubic yards of mulch dropped off in the driveway, so I'm working on getting that spread out in the garden, and that's kind of a little bit tedious because it's filling up our gorilla cart, which is very manual, with a shovel, hauling a load over, coming back around because the garden's on the other side of the house. It's okay, it's exercise. And in this bed that's adjacent to the house, I've gotten a couple of cabbages in here. I had so many seedlings that I didn't really have enough space in my veggie garden proper to put them, so I'm kind of just tucking them in here and there. I've got a couple, the red cabbages right there, and the rest of these things, sorry about my shadow, the rest of these things were just perennials or shrubs, so they come back every year, and so everything's starting to leaf out nicely. I also picked up 3 blueberry plants at our local Home Depot this week, so I'm excited to get those in the ground. I'll just have to find the best place for them while they get enough sun that they need, and I can kind of keep them protected from the wildlife. Where I work, we're doing a plant sale, like a native plant sale, starting today, actually Friday, and it runs until early June. So next week I'm going to go out there on one of my days off with my mother-in-law, and we're going to do some plant shopping. So the big thing there, and not just with the organization that I work for, but in maybe the gardening community at large, there's a focus to shift back to native plants, just because there's so many invasives at this time. And it's nothing against those plants, but because they entered into our environment quickly and latched on, the the insect life and the other animals didn't evolve with those plants. So there's kind of like a discrepancy, I guess you would say. Like they're not working in sync together anymore, and it's like kind of throws the environment out of whack. So yeah, we're going to go try to pick up some native plants, and most of those are perennials. I'm really hoping to kind of beef up my landscaping a little bit this year. Usually my focus in the garden has been for the last few years on the vegetable garden, and I'm getting to the point where I'm like maxing out my space with that. So maybe I could start working on making the area, like the yard and around the house, a little bit prettier, and focus more on the flowering plants and shrubs and things like that. Yeah, what else? That's about it. It was pretty quiet here. Yeah, we haven't done too much. Yeah, so next week I'll have some more things to kind of share with you guys, and it might be a little more interesting. Oh, yeah, one thing I did do, one of my coworkers at my new job is a collage artist, and as I've mentioned here on the channel before, I am trying to go through my patterns and like parse out the ones that either I've made and I know I won't make again, or maybe I never made and I'm thinking, why did I buy this? I don't like it. Or maybe it was 10 years ago, it's out of style and I know I won't make it. And if it hasn't been used and still factory folded, I may go ahead and try to sell those on Destashify or Etsy. I don't have an Etsy shop, but I can sell on eBay because you don't need like a shop per se to sell on eBay. At least you never used to when I've sold a few things on there many years ago. But the ones that I've already cut into, I offered those to my coworker just because they do have like the cute or pretty illustrations on the covers of the envelopes, and she might be able to use those in her collage art, and especially some of the older ones that she is a lot younger than I am, so for her especially those patterns would definitely be called vintage. and she might find that kind of charming. So she was happy to get them. I gave her 4. That's all I had time to pull out of my pattern cabinet. So I brought those into her yesterday, and she was happy to get them. And I told her there probably would be plenty more where that came from as I go through this process of like purging through my pattern cabinet. I also thought that it might be fun to do, like for the factory folded uncut ones, to do some kind of a giveaway on the channel. And let me know if that's something that you guys might be interested in. That could be like a goal that I strive for, like when I hit like 1,000 subscribers or something like that. I could do like a pattern giveaway. I'm sure I could easily pull out 10 patterns that are still uncut factory folded to include in that. And most of them, even though some of them might be a little older, some of them not quite as old, but they're all going to be decent, nothing like wackadoodle. They're all still going to be things that probably a lot of you might be interested in making. So let me know your thoughts on that. And yes, I think that's kind of it for life. Let's move on to this week's feature channel. And so this week's feature channel is called Virginia's Daughter. And the person that does that is a woman named Terry. I love her. I love her videos. And she is like a wealth of sewing knowledge. I feel like she's kind of more like a peer with myself as far as like uh, age and things. Not that that matters, but sometimes you feel like you can relate to someone a little bit more. So she's been sewing for quite a long time, as have I, and but I feel like she's like way more knowledgeable than I ever have been, or maybe ever will be. So I love Terry, and I think of her as like our sewing coach. I don't know if you guys have checked out her channel. I'll put a link to her channel below. She's really happy and cheerful, and she's just full of knowledge. And her videos themselves, the way that she does her editing, is really dynamic. It's not just kind of like I think of my videos, unless I'm doing like a pattern review. I feel like I'm kind of a talking head, so to speak, because I'm just here chatting, chatting, chatting. She'll put a lot of like graphic design elements into her videos and like flashy words. It sounds kind of strange, but I think it would make more sense if you took a look at one of her videos, but like little pops of activity in her videos. I love the way she edits. It makes the video jazzy and fun. So yeah, head over and check out her channel if you haven't already. I guarantee you're gonna like her. She's yeah, just great. I love Terry. I love her channel. Yeah, so go take a look at her channel. And oh yeah, one other thing that we did do this week. My husband's work had a happy hour on Monday. So we went to that, and he's 100% remote now just as a result of the pandemic. But so in order to kind of keep the team like engaged with each other and have that face-to-face contact, sometimes his boss will arrange little get-togethers, and maybe it's a happy hour, maybe it's going out to eat, and they're not too frequent, like maybe one every few months, so they're like pretty spread out. So we went to happy hour, and it was at one of the local brew pubs. So that was good, and I do happen to like the beers that this company brews too. They're some of my favorites. Not that I drink a lot of beer anymore these days, but at one point, my husband and I were really into the craft beers, especially. It didn't have to be like from local breweries, but it was nice when it was. But anytime we would travel out of town on vacation, we would try to see what local brew pubs were around and sample the local selection. Although, like I said, that's not as something that we're as into these days. So it was kind of fun just to hang out with them. And So if you're ready, let's go ahead and take a look at the jacket. I'm going to try to do these pictures outside because we are having a beautiful spring day finally. Our temperatures have been cold, like barely getting into the 50s during the day. It's kind of delaying my garden, and plus it's gloomy and rainy most days. But it looks like we're having a little bit of sun today and the temperature's pretty warm. So I'm going to try to do this outside. So let's go. So what do you think? I totally love it. I've already worn it out a couple of times. I totally love it. It's comfortable. I love the hood. I love that it's lightweight, but with the lining, it's still lightweight, but it gives it a little bit more body and a little bit more warmth. And I would love to make it again, maybe in like a more fun fabric, or even make it kind of like a raincoat, like in some raincoat type of material. I don't know if that's like pleather or vinyl or what that would be. I've never sewn with that, but yeah, so I'm totally in love with my new jacket. And once again, be sure to head over to Pam's channel and look at her jacket. And I will probably end up maybe doing a full pattern review on the pattern because it's still like a somewhat of a newish kind of pattern. So I might do that in the next couple of weeks. We'll see. And that's pretty much all that I have. Thanks again for hanging out with me, and thank you so much for watching my videos. It really means a lot to me. And until next time, bye.